Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today I'm bringing you guys a reading all about what would the successful version of yourself tell you right now? What pieces of advice would they give to you? So something that we're going to be looking at today is who are they? In what way are they successful? In what way are they presenting themselves? What is their energy like? And then we're going to be getting 3 specific pieces of advice that version of you would tell the version of you right now. So today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. Pile 1, we have the Hawk card with the Carnelian. Pile 2, we have the Peacock card with the green Aragonite. And pile 3, we have the Camel card with the Black Eye Agate. So these cards right here are just for you to figure out which one you feel most drawn to. We won't be using these specific cards in the reading unless they happen to pop out again, but these are just what do you feel most drawn to right now so that you can help find yourself the correct reading to listen to. So I've left timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But that's everything that I have to say. Go ahead and enjoy your reading. Alright, pile 1. If you chose the Carnelian, then this is going to be the reading for you. And I can already tell that your reading is going to be very sweet because I personally resonate with it, and I get this overwhelming sense of love that I can only explain as having the same energy as the Fool card and the World card in the tarot. And for those of you that don't know tarot cards as well, let me explain to you. These cards are very meaningful to me personally because both of them, the Fool card, some people kind of look down on it. They think that, why would you want to be that card? It's childish, it's stupid. But in reality, the Fool is the card that is necessary to get us to the next steps in life. The only way that we can go through hardship is to tune in to the carefreeness that the Fool has. If you look at the Fool card and what it represents, you see this person with this childlike innocence for life, this unconditional love for the world that's wielding the power of all the cards, but it does so with not just a carelessness in a bad way, but with a carefreeness because they are unburdened by life's responsibilities. And the entire journey of the tarot, through hardship, through the Death card, the Tower card, through the learning of the Hanged Man and the Hermit, it all leads to the World card, which has all the combined knowledge and wisdom of all the previous cards, but it makes its way back to the innocence of the Fool card. You see the World card is floating above the world, completely naked and bare to the world because it represents innocence and purity, but yet it still holds the wisdom and power of everything else combined. And all this to say that is the energy that you're embodying in your reading. I think that you have been through a lot of hardship, you've been through a lot of insecurity, fears that you won't reach the success that you want, fears that you're not good enough, people putting you down in the past. But the successful version of yourself is perfectly embodying what I just described. Because when I see the Lamb card and the Unicorn represents the spiritual side, about being in tune with one's purpose, with one's divinity, with one's intuition. You see this horn connecting the universe, or connecting the unicorn to the universe, is almost like a lightning rod of telepathic connection. And what I see this here is this wisdom and this connection that you'll have to the universe, to your own path in life, to your own destiny, being perfectly in tune with the flow and what your true purpose is. That's the successful version of you. But then with the Lamb card, it's even though you have this amazing connection to the divine, the Lamb card is still gentle and innocent, and it connects back to that carefreeness of the Fool energy, where even though you've been so burdened and bogged down throughout your life, you somehow found the courage and the way to step back into your inner child. The Lamb is an earth card, it's grounded, it's stable, but it's also happy and carefree because it's a child, it's a baby. But at the same time, it has the wisdom and knowledge and connection of the Unicorn, and that is such a powerful energy to be in. If I could describe this, I would say that if I had to describe enlightenment, like what people talk about reaching enlightenment, this is what I imagine it as. It's having the wisdom of knowing the truth of the world, the good, the bad, the ugly, the disturbing, knowing all of it, having been through all of it, but still having the strength to connect to your inner child, connect to carefreeness, and connect to unconditional love. And the successful version of you has all of that. You know, it's definitely a transcendent sort of being. But at the same time, you're a human living a human life. You're going through all the trials and tribulations that everyone else has, and yet you still have this connection to the divine, as well as a connection to yourself. So I want you to know that this is the version of yourself that you are going to evolve into. When I imagine success, a lot of people think about having lots of money, having lots of, chicks or cars or whatever. But for you and for me, we see the true value in connection to our purpose, connection to ourselves, and happiness above all else. And I do see you reaching that. I see you reaching a level of peace and contentment in the world that no matter what life throws at you, you have this sense of unconditional love that nothing can break your willpower and nothing can get you down. And so, now getting into this specific advice, I know that was very long-winded, but I got that very strong vibe from the first 2 cards that we got, all about who the successful version of you is. And I want you to know that you are evolving into that beautiful, enlightened, successful person. And successful not just in, a monetary sense, but in the way that really counts, the way that will bring you true fulfillment that nothing else can. So, the advice that the successful version of you would tell you right now is that I feel like you guys, pile 1, are on a very specific path right now. I feel like you have spent a lot of time, or are still spending a lot of time, trying to find what your purpose is, what your place in life is. And you're going down this path, career-wise, or even just on your own, trying to find that, trying to find yourself, trying to find where you fit in the world. And the successful version of you wants you to know that you are going to face rejections. It's unavoidable. But they want you to know that this has no reflection on you. And they want you to face these rejections with an open heart and an open mind, and to not let them get you down. Because a lot of people, when they go along this path of finding themselves, finding their purpose, or chasing goals, chasing their true desires, they might hit roadblocks along the way that make them give up. And when you give up, when you decide to quit, you are giving up on what your heart and your soul truly desires. And that is the biggest betrayal that you can give to yourself. To tell yourself that it must just not be meant for me, or I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I don't have enough willpower to reach this, I don't have the ability to get to this. And that's just not true. And with the Ace of Cups being here, the successful version of you wants you to know that when you face these rejections, you need to find a way to reframe your perspective, to get back up and dust yourself off. Because the only person that is going to get you along this journey, the only person that's going to push you forward and put one foot in front of the other, is you. You might have people helping you along the way. You might have people that, help you out here and there. But the only person that's going to get you to that end goal is yourself. And you need to figure out how to keep filling your own cup. Keep allowing yourself to feel love, even when people push you down, or spit on you, or beat you up, or pummel you into the ground. How can you get back up and still feel that love, feel that purpose, and still go towards your dreams and not give up on them? And this is an extremely hard thing to do. And I think the reason that you're getting this specific piece of advice is because there is going to be a great many rejections along the way. And I want to tie back into what I said about the Fool card and the World card. The Fool card is the starting point of the major arcana in the tarot. It is the very first card that kicks off the journey of the Fool through the major arcana story. And the very last card is the World card. But along the way in between, there are trials and tribulations, and that's what you're going through. Of course, you're going to end at the World card. You are going to reach that success. You are going to reach that personal fulfillment and carefreeness. But along the way, there's going to be lots of rejection. There's going to be lots of heartache and pain, and there's going to be days where you don't want to keep going, where you feel like you're a failure, where you feel like you don't have the discipline or the ability to reach your goals or manifest your desires. But what I want to tell you is, when you don't quit, you win. The only reason that you won't get what you want is because you quit on yourself. And the world will throw so many things at you to try, not to make you stop, but to try to make you stronger so that you can be worthy of the end goal. But the only thing that you have to do is keep going. And there's going to be days where you don't want to. There's going to be days where you just want to lay in bed and stop working towards your desires, or you think it's not good enough. You think nobody's ever going to want what it is that you're trying to create. No one's going to support you. No one's going to love what you do. But the truth is, as long as you love what you do, as long as you are doing everything from a place of unconditional love and from the place inside your heart that is connected to the divine, you are going to reach that end goal. And that is what your future successful version of yourself wants you to know the most, is that you are the only one that is going to get you to your desires. And in order to do so, you have to never give up on them. You have to keep getting yourself up. You have to be the one to reinvigorate yourself, to keep yourself disciplined, to basically fill your own cup again. Because inspiration is very fleeting. We feel it in the very beginning, and it's the thing that makes us so excited to start something. But it's not always there. Inspiration and motivation are great things to have, but it's not always there. And you need to figure out the way to maintain discipline and maintain motivation, even when you don't feel like doing anything. Because this is something that is important to you. And giving up on it would be a betrayal to yourself and your life and your purpose. And the next thing that I want you to know, that they want you to know, you have the Balance card and the Page of Pentacles reversed. And there's this almost warning here to maintain balance of a level head when chasing your desires and not focus so much on the end goal. And I want to give you this analogy of, imagine that your goal is to climb Mount Everest, right? If you're standing at the very bottom and staring at the entire mountain, you're going to think, oh my God, this is insurmountable. There's no way that I could do this. It's impossible. But if you start by just looking at the steps in front of you, you look 10 feet away. You're like, okay, I can take 10 steps. And then from there, you look 10 feet away again. Okay, I can take 10 more. Just look at what steps are right in front of you right now. What little thing can you do to help you get towards this goal? Maybe that's just eating breakfast in the morning so that you have energy to get through the day. Maybe it's writing down a to-do list of things that are going to support you in getting towards this goal. But it's those little things that you do that might seem small or don't mean a lot, but the truth is any step is a step closer to your desires. And they want you to know that. And I think a big thing that you want is this end goal. Maybe it's like the money that you're going to get out of it, or the success, or the recognition. And you're just so focused on that everything around you seems like insurmountable. You'll never get there, and you get bogged down by thinking about how badly you want it and how impossible it seems. And this successful version of yourself is telling you, maintain a balance. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Of course you want to be disciplined and you want to work hard, but you don't want to lose yourself along the way. And you don't want to burn yourself out. It's about slow and steady, not super fast sprints and then burning yourself out. So along the way, take time to rest, take time to have fun, not for any reason that it's productive, but just to have fun, because those kinds of things are going to help you stay motivated towards your goal. A marathon runner isn't going to be able to reach the end of the marathon if they never took some moments to walk for a little bit, or never took a moment to drink some water here and there. So don't get so down on yourself if you allow yourself to read a book or play a video game because it's not serving a purpose. It is serving a purpose. It's reinvigorating you. It's giving you your energy back, just the same way that a marathon runner would need to stop for water or for, a Cliff Bar or something. So maintaining balance is very important, and also not looking at the mountain, just looking at the steps that you need to take right in front of you. Because before you know it, you'd be at the top of the mountain, and it would be so much nicer than just staring at the top the whole time and just trying to sprint towards it and then giving up, a quarter of the way up. Just doing what little you can to get yourself to keep moving towards your goal. And the final thing that I want you to hear, or that they want you to hear, you have the Death card and the Two of Swords reversed. And what I think that they're saying here is you need to let go of the certain outcome that you have in mind of the way that something might look, the way that success looks. I feel like often when we are working towards personal endeavors, we get so fixated on things or a version of success looking a certain way that when that doesn't work out, suddenly this goal isn't meant to be. And I want to give you a certain example that I've used before on this channel. That imagine that your goal was to open a shop, right? And there's this really popular outlet mall that you're like, okay, if I can just set up my shop here, it's gonna be super popular, there's gonna be lots of foot traffic, there's gonna be lots of people drawn to it. But then, for some reason, you don't get the lease to that place. Somebody else takes that spot, and suddenly there's no spots in that outlet mall, and you give up on your dream of owning a shop because you're like, well, it didn't work out there, it's not gonna work out anywhere else. But maybe that happened for a reason. Maybe if you set up somewhere else, it turns out that that outlet mall that seems so popular ends up being burned down by a fire a week later. So maybe certain things happen in a way that benefits us, or maybe because a certain way that things might have happened wouldn't have worked out for our best interest. And maybe setting up in a different location, it turns out that that's the new up and coming spot, after the place burns down. Suddenly all the foot traffic is over there and your shop is booming. But if you focus so much on it needs to be this way, it needs to happen like this at this time, when it doesn't pan out, you start to get down on yourself. You start to, feel like all the doors in front of you are closed. But in reality, it's never that we lose opportunity, it's that we restrict ourselves to having only specific opportunities, when in reality, it might be better for us to take a different door, or a window, or go in a different direction. So if certain things don't work out, and like I said, you're going to be facing a lot of rejections, things not working out the way that you thought they would, start looking of, okay, how else can I achieve this? Maybe I set up my shop in a different place. Maybe it's an online shop that I advertise online. Maybe it doesn't appear the way that you wanted it to in the beginning or the way that you had in mind. But if you keep being open-minded to other opportunities for other directions, it's gonna work out as long as you continue to move in a positive direction. So pile 1. That is everything that I have for you here today. I know that was kind of a long-ish reading, but I really hope that this finds you when you need it. I hope that this brings you some encouragement and some clarity, because I see that you're on a really beautiful path right now. You are on a path filled with purpose that is a part of your fate. It's something that you are meant to be doing, and you can feel it in your soul. And I don't want you to give up on it, because I can tell that this is something you are so very passionate about. So please take this advice into account. I think even if this wasn't a directed tarot reading, this is advice that I would give to anybody that was in your situation. I think that this could be really helpful to you. So I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you enjoy what I do and you're looking for more videos like this, feel free to subscribe and stick around, or just check out the rest of my channel, because I have a ton more just like this. I also have shorter videos if you're into shorter videos, but also longer form videos like this. And if you're looking for a reading about your specific situation, I do provide those. There's a link down in the description box below to my shop. But that's everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, pile 2. If you chose the green aragonite, then this is going to be the reading for you. And I want to start off by showing you who is the successful version of yourself. And the card that we have here is the Panther. So this immediately to me is showing me somebody that is very fierce, somebody that is very protective of themselves, protective of what they want, who fights for what they want, and goes after it with 100% of their being. So I see this as you could be into business of some kind, though that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. It just shows me that whatever it is that you desire to work towards, you work towards with 100% of yourself. You go after it fiercely. People are afraid of you in the way that, I'm imagining if somebody wanted to open a business or go after a certain business venture, or even like a lawyer, if they wanted to fight a certain case, but they heard that you were on the case fighting against them, they immediately back off. They're like, no way, I can't go against that Panther person. They're too strong, they're too intense. And it's because you are extremely sure of yourself. You're extremely sure of your capabilities. And you go after what you want with 100% of yourself. Whatever field that you are going into, I think that you are going to be one of the best, if not the best. I get a very strong competitive energy from you, but also very protective. I don't think that you are going to hurt people just to hurt them. The Panther goes after what they want, but they're also very protective of that which they love. And they don't strike just because. They strike, for food, for their needs. They strike for what they need to get done, what they need to accomplish. But those around them, I think that you're going to have a very tight, close-knit group of trusted people around you that are either just like you or that contribute to your life in one way or another, or you contribute to them. You're not going to have meaningless relationships. Everything in your life feels like a well-oiled machine, everything working in tandem, even your close relationships. And I don't mean to say that everything is going to be like unfeeling, everything has a purpose or it gets cut out. It's like everybody's contributing in a perfect way. Everybody works together, has their purpose, and you certainly do. And I think a better way to say this was, like, everybody who's in your life has their own purpose and actively works towards it. And so do you. And so it's like you don't want to be surrounded by people that don't have a purpose they're actively working towards or letting their life waste away. It's people that are pushing themselves towards their goals and also upholding their friends around them. You don't have people that are insecure, pulling each other down or competing just because they want to be the best. It's like you guys all care about each other and you want to see each other succeed. So that is a big thing that I see for you. I see a very powerful energy for you here with the Panther card. I think the successful version of yourself is very tough and gets what they want. And if they're rejected or they're stopped in some ways, who cares? No second chances. You're going in a different direction. They'll miss you. They're going to wish that they let you have what you wanted because you're going to benefit whoever you're around. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, let's say you're a content creator, and I'm using this example because I heard this guy talking about it on YouTube, and you go towards these people and you're like, hey, I'd love to sponsor your stuff on my channel, I'm really into your stuff, and they're like, no, we don't want you, and you're like, okay, fine. So then you move on and you start doing sponsorships for this other business, and they blow up like crazy, and suddenly the first one is like, well, do you want to sponsor us now? And you're like, no, you had your chance. I don't do takebacks. If you didn't accept me the first time, who cares? Because you are so strong. You don't even think of it as a rejection. You see it as, well, they missed the opportunity, That is the kind of energy that you are going to be evolving into. So now I have the pieces of advice from your future successful self, what they would tell the version of you right now. And there's quite a bit here. It does have to do with career, but a lot more to do with your own self-empowerment, because I think as you increase your self-empowerment, as you increase your confidence, and as you continue to move towards your goals, everything else just follows, like career success just follows, because people around you are going to see how much you have to offer, how confident you are, and they know that you're going to be successful, and it's like they want to jump on board. They want to support you how they can because they want to ride your wave. So what I see for you is one of the most important things that your successful version of yourself wants you to hear is keep moving. You have the movement card and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. And what I see here is if you're not perfectly content in the environment you're in, if the current people around you aren't serving you in the way that you want, if you feel like your current job is not giving you the opportunities that you need to succeed, keep moving. Keep moving. One of the best pieces of career advice that I was given is don't stay in one job for too long. Like the maximum amount of time that you want to be in a job is 6 months, and then start looking for a new job that will move you up. Stay there for 6 months, move up, there for 6 months, move up. Keep doing this, and you are going to quickly rise the ranks in whatever field that you're in. You're gaining so much experience, so many connections, and you're moving up rapidly because you're not just staying in a spot that is stopping you from being successful. And what this version of yourself wants you to hear is as long as you keep moving, you keep looking for better opportunities and not letting yourself get stuck in places where people don't want you to advance, you are going to reach whatever goal you want. You won't be held back because you are going to keep moving. You are not living at the whims of other people, living at the whims of "Oh, well, maybe if I stay for another year, they'll finally promote me." If they're not promoting you, look for another job where people actually want you to succeed, where they actually want to help you out. If you're in an environment where everyone's super competitive, pushing each other down, not supporting each other, get out of there. If you're in a friend group where it's the same thing, everybody's insecure, so they push each other down, cut those people off. It sounds a lot easier said than done, but the successful version of yourself had to learn how to do all this. They had to do all these things to get themselves to this perfect life where they're surrounded by people that uplift them and they uplift them in turn. They're surrounded by people that want to see them succeed, and they are in a position career-wise where they are very successful. Everything in life is the way that they want it to, and they're still learning and still growing every day. But the only reason that they got to this is because they had to do these hard things. They had to let go of things that were no longer serving them. They had to keep pushing forward. And they believe in you. They know that you can do this because they are you. This is the version of yourself that went through all this, and they are encouraging you to do the same. All that you can do is move up from here. And another thing, the next piece of advice that your future successful version of yourself wants you to know is, along the way, yes, the hustle is important. Yes, they realize that, they love to be competitive. They love to work hard. They love to see themselves succeeding. But also, don't forget to enjoy yourself along the way. Don't get lost in the hustle. Don't get lost in the burnout, because it's important to still have fun. So, yes, it's important to work hard. Don't completely slack off on your duties, but allow yourself to have fun here and there. If you enjoy going out, allocate one day out of the week that you allow yourself to go out, or one day out of the month. Let yourself still be around your friends. Let yourself let loose every once in a while. If you have hobbies or special interests that you're into, still chase after them. Don't fully let go of everything so you can be this stone cold, successful person, because the reason that this version of you is successful, they're not just successful in a career sense. Like I said, they also have a great group of people around them, maybe a partner or friends. They have great connections as well. And you don't get that by just being stone cold and burnt out and not having any fun. It's important to have that happiness as well. And that's what I said about the panther is, yes, they're very cutthroat, but they're also very protective of the people around them. And even though a panther is kind of scary and it has sharp claws and sharp teeth, it's still fuzzy. Let yourself still be fuzzy. Let yourself have fun. And finally, I have kind of the same point as what the successful version of yourself said earlier. You have flow and the 5 of Pentacles. And what this tells me here is the flow card is all about staying in movement, just like the movement card, still flowing towards your goals. If there's a rock in your path, you go around it. And with the 5 of Pentacles, I think that there's going to be a lot of people that want to hold you back. There's a lot of people that want to keep you out in the cold, that don't want to let you into the quote-unquote boys club, don't want to let you succeed. They don't want to see you win. You just got to flow around it. There's a big sense here that you're going to be facing a lot of rejections. It's not going to be easy along the way, but the only person moving you forward is yourself. And I also get the sense that you're going to meet people along the way that are like you, and the successful version of yourself wants you to help them, wants you to support them. Not give them all your money, give them all your time, but when you see people trying to do what you're trying to do, when you see people trying to hustle and become successful in the field that they're in, get closer to those people. Because like I always say, and lots of other self-help or self-growth people will say, is the 5 people surrounding you, or the 5 biggest influences around you, are who you are. If you're surrounded by people, like-minded individuals that are also working towards their goals and very disciplined, you are going to be working towards your goals and disciplined even more. But if you surround yourself with, people that constantly party, don't have any goals or aspirations, you're going to end up being like them. And so as you go along the way, if you encounter people that are being shut out as well, but want to be successful, form your own group. If there are groups that are very cold and cut off and don't want anybody to succeed, form your own group of like-minded individuals that want to uplift each other. And that's how you're going to encounter these people, like I said, that are rooting for each other, are supporting each other, and are going after their goals. So, pile 2. That is everything that I have to say to you. I know I was speaking very fast, but that is the kind of energy that I got from this successful version of yourself that I was channeling, is very like straight to business, no lollygagging. I don't know why I said that word. Maybe the older version of yourself is like physically older, but they're very straight to the point. They get things done. They want to speak fast. They don't have time for anything else because all their time and energy is devoted to what they want to accomplish and what matters to them. And not in a burnout sense, like where they have no time for themselves, but where they enjoy what they do. They are devoting all their energy and time to what they care about, not to things that don't matter. So, and that does include happiness. That doesn't mean that it's only about work. It's important to find that balance, and it can all help you towards your goals. So, pile 2. That is everything that I have for you. If you enjoyed this reading, feel free to check out the other ones on my channel or subscribe and stick around because I post about twice a week. And if you want a reading about your specific situation, there's a link down the description box below to my shop. But that's everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, pile 3. If you chose the black eye agate, then this is going to be the reading for you. And I want to start off by saying that you can't be boxed in. I tried my best to, so basically the way that I was going to do this is I start off by getting a card of who is the successful version of you, what are they like, and that's what this card was supposed to be. But I kept getting so many cards, and I was like, please, just give me one card, and it always kept coming out as like completely different cards, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. But eventually I came to the conclusion that you can't be boxed in. You embody everything. You are a jack of all trades. You are unlike anybody else in the world. You are so completely unique in the way that you behave, the way that you think. This might not apply to everybody, but I'm kind of getting the vibe that maybe you were born with some sort of, I want to say this properly, like a mental genetic mutation of some kind. I really don't know the correct terminology, so take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's you, but I feel like you were born different from everyone else. Physically, sure, but majorly, like, spiritually wise. And another thing that came to mind is like the word lightworker or starseed. You don't necessarily need to be one of those, but it's like, it's this idea that you're not from here. You don't fit in with anyone else. You're so different from anyone else, and you can't understand why things don't click right, why you don't react the same way to other people, why you don't understand why everybody likes something but you like all these other things, or you have these interests that don't fit in with the norm. You don't really fit in with society as a whole. And so the card that I picked for you, because I picked one, I didn't let them fall out because I realized you don't fit in with any of those cards. I had to figure out which one fits you. And the version of you that I chose is the black egg. And the reason I chose this is because you have the ability to be whatever you want, because you are everything in one. Just like the color black has every color inside of it, it's absorbed every single color. It is everything. It is able to understand everything, but simultaneously fits nowhere. And what I want you to hear is the version of you that's successful isn't successful in the normal sort of way of the term. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not successful in like the conventional way, but your version of success that you've reached is just being who you are, being comfortable, being different, being comfortable in your own skin, not feeling the need to fit any one place. You've learned how to live the life that you want to live. For some of you, maybe that means like having a cabin in the woods where you don't have to interact with anyone because you don't really enjoy people. You have like your dog and your animals and you're happy that way. I feel like for a long time you're like, why am I so different? Why can't I just like what everyone likes? Why can't I just fit in? Why can't I just have a 9-to-5 and go through life the way everyone else does? And the truth is, it's because you're different. And that's not a bad thing, it's just who you are. And the successful version of yourself has made peace with this. And you allow yourself to live the way that you want to. Like I said, living in a cabin in the woods as a recluse isn't for everyone, but maybe that's what you want to do. Or maybe you want to be like a carnival director, or maybe you want to be a trapeze artist. Whatever it is, you've accepted that that's what you want. You've given up trying to fit in other places, because those don't make you happy. You just tried to feel like you belonged for so long. But the truth is, what you really wanted was just acceptance of who you are. You just wanted people to be okay with who you are, and you wanted to be okay with who you are. And that's why I chose this card for you, because I feel like that's the best fitting out of all these cards. And I see that even further exemplified in what advice you need to hear from this successful version of yourself. So starting off, you have the Hermit card and the Rejection card. And this basically just reinforces what I already said. You're gonna be going it alone for a while. And I don't want you to be afraid, that you're never gonna find anyone, but because I think that is entirely possible. But what I'm seeing for you here is, for a long stretch of time, you're going to be in this period of hermit mode, because you faced a lot of rejections, and it almost breaks my heart and makes me want to cry thinking about it, because I'm imagining the little version of you who tried to fit into other people's friend groups, or tried to fit into other people's clubs or their activities, and you were always rejected, or you were held back, or even if you were let in, you were kind of outcast, you were off to the side. You couldn't get on the same wavelength as other people. Maybe people looked at you funny, or they just thought that you were weird and didn't want to be around you. And you faced so many of these rejections over the years that you had to learn how to be okay with being on your own. You weren't happy with it, but you were resigned to the fact that this was your fate, and you've gone it alone. You've been this hermit who's on their own. But what I want you to hear from this successful version of yourself is, they have found peace with who they are. And I think the biggest thing that you had to get over was trying to make yourself palatable to other people. Because people judge very quickly. They make presumptions of people very quickly. And once you have this idea of who someone is in your mind, it's hard to undo that. And what's coming to mind right now is, I was reading this book called, what's it called? It's like Tiny Beautiful Things or something like that, by Cheryl Strayed. And there was this one passage where it was this man who talked about how he was just born ugly. He dealt with a disease that ravaged his body. He had skin issues, bone issues, and therefore he had to accept the fact that no one was ever going to want him physically. And the truth is, maybe that's what you're going to go through. Maybe that's what you've gone through. And I can't give you advice on that because I've never been through that myself. But what the woman in the book said is, no matter how you look, no matter how you behave, there is still somebody out there that will love you for your personality. Maybe they will judge you on first glance. Maybe many people will judge you on first glance and completely write you off. But it's not impossible for you to find the person out there who doesn't care about that, who doesn't care about superficial things. But I think for a long time, you're gonna have to go it alone. You're gonna have to face the fact that you're gonna have to go through these rejections. And no matter how many people tell you otherwise, it's just going to be a fact of your life. And I wish I could tell you otherwise, but this is the way that human behavior is. And I'd be lying to you if I said it otherwise. So I want to give you the honesty of what I'm hearing here from this future version of yourself. That life is going to be hard. This person or these people that you're hoping to find that will love you unconditionally, they're not going to be easy to find, because a great majority of people judge at first glance, or judge based on their first impression of you. And like I said, you don't fit in naturally. So for a long time, you're going to have to learn how to be comfortable on your own. You're going to have to face these rejections. And, well, that's just the first piece of advice. I know it's sad so far, but the next piece of advice that they have for you is the anxiety card clarified by the King of Swords reversed. I think that you're somebody who's dealt with a lot of social anxiety, who's dealt with, when I say hermit, I almost imagine like turning into a recluse, like physically hiding yourself, hiding your body, hiding away like in the place that you live, not coming out for days, and just having anxiety in general stopping you from doing anything really, stopping yourself from accomplishing anything, going outside. And this can be a very debilitating thing to deal with. And since this is something that you go through, they want you to know, and I personally would advise you to not trust the own thoughts that are circulating in your head. Your anxiety is very much fueled by false stories that you tell yourself. And I'm not saying this as like a general thing that I say to anybody, but something I'm actually channeling is I feel like the future version of yourself is encouraging you to go to counseling. Of course, I personally would encourage this as well, but this is something I'm directly getting is they want you to not trust the story that you tell yourself in your head. You need to get an outside perspective to tell you the truth of what's going on, because I feel like you're fueling your brain with these horrible ideas of this is what's going to happen if I do this and everything's going to fall apart, no one's going to like me. And the truth is, yes, you don't fit in, but that doesn't mean that everybody automatically hates you. And I feel like you have these kinds of false stories in your head that are debilitating, and it's impossible to live with. And the only way to continue and to grow and to heal yourself is getting actual psychological help. I don't mean that you need to be put on, meds. I'm not saying those are a bad thing, but I'm not saying like you have to change, you gotta physically change your brain chemistry to be okay. What I'm saying here is it might be helpful to you to just get another perspective on what you're going through. See things in a different light, because the story that you're telling yourself in your head might not be actually true, and it might be holding you back from certain things that you want to do. And getting help from a professional, especially who might know what's going on with you or know how you're feeling, will help a ton, especially if you feel lonely or isolated, if you don't know how to connect to people. This person's job is literally to connect to you and help you and to communicate with you. And I think that that is something that this future successful version of yourself is encouraging. I even got the thought right now that maybe there's one specific therapist or psychologist that you meet with that becomes a very important person in your life, someone that you go to regularly, not just like start up and quit. Because I personally have gone to many therapists that I just didn't vibe with. I didn't like the kind of advice they did. I didn't like the method of speaking that they had. I even had a therapist recently that I went to for 2 whole sessions, and then she like dropped off the face of the earth, and I was like, okay, well, I guess there's no more therapy for me. But I've always thought like it would be nice to get that one person who just gets me, who understands what I'm going through and can help me get through it. And I feel like even if you don't have that thought yourself yet, or you're not ready to admit that you need help, it could just help to try to find that person. Try to find professional help, because I get this, I'm like getting this message from the successful version of yourself that the reason that they're successful, that they are in tune with who they are, who they've accepted who they are, is because they had help, specifically from a person like this. And finally, with the Surrender card and the Page of Cups reversed, they want you to know that you are the way that you are. There's nothing good or bad about it. It's just the way that it is. And for a long time, I think you've hated yourself. You've hated your body or the way that your mind works. You've hated the way that people react to you. You've hated the way that you can't fit in, or you seem so different and people always write you off. And the truth is, this isn't changing. Whatever ailment you're going through, whatever holds you back or has put you in this predicament, it's not changing. You could try to change yourself as much as possible to be palatable to other people, but that's never going to make you feel fulfilled. And I urge you to look deep into yourself and really figure out what it is that you truly want. A lot of people just want to be liked by other people. They want to be in social situations because deep down that is fulfilling a need that they have. And this successful version of yourself is asking you to look within yourself and ask yourself, how can I fulfill this need, knowing that what I'm going through is never going to change? How can I work around this instead of just trying to cover it up and pretend to be someone that I'm not? And with the Surrender card, this successful version of yourself is forcing you to, well, not forcing in a bad way, but they want you to acknowledge that the way that you are is the way that you are. And I don't think that you've accepted that yet. I think maybe you tell yourself like, oh, that's just the way that I am. But a small part of you still hopes to change, still hopes to make yourself more palatable to other people. But the successful version of yourself is successful because they've accepted that they are the way that they are. They're not changing. And this is just the way that they have to go through life. And once you can make that acceptance, once you can surrender to the fact that this isn't changing, this is who you are, you're going to go down this journey of self-discovery to discover what fulfills you. Who do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to live? And I think for so long you've been held back from discovering that because you've been so fixated on just changing who you are. And the successful version of you wants you to know that that's not changing. And I wish that I could tell you otherwise. I wish that I could tell you that, like the Beauty and the Beast story is true, and some beauty is going to come along and kiss you and suddenly transform you into a handsome prince or princess. But that's not the way that real life works. These are the cards that you've been dealt, from birth or from whatever happened. There's no changing it. The only way to go on is to learn how to accept it for yourself. And that's the message that you have from yourself. They want you to know that this is something extremely hard to deal with, but they are dealing with it alongside yourself. I know that you feel alone, but I want you to look in the mirror and look at that other person, really take them in and see that that person is going through exactly what you're going through. That is the only person in the world that knows exactly what it is that you're going through, how you feel about things. And that is the only person that's going to help you overcome these feelings. The only person that's going to be able to accept that this is the hand that you've been dealt. And that's why I feel like you were drawn to this video and to this reading, is because you needed to speak or be spoken to by this future version of yourself, not just to hear how you can be successful, but so that you can hear the voice of your own self, connect to yourself, and realize that there is someone out there who is going through exactly what you're going through, who understands exactly what it's like to be you. And it's you. I know it sounds kind of crazy, like go talk to yourself in the mirror, but I don't know. This is what they wanted you to hear. And I see that this is going to be a very tough journey for you to go down. But this is the journey of your life. This is your purpose, is learning how to accept who you are. And I think that this is the person that you are evolving into. It's time for you to let go of this version of yourself that you tried to turn into to make everyone love you, to make everyone accept you. It wasn't you. It was just a facade to try to make life easier for you. But I truly believe that there is a fulfillment for you that you can find, that you don't need to change yourself to accomplish, that you don't need to change yourself, change your looks, change your personality, change the way that you act in order to be happy. There is fulfillment for you to find, and your biggest supporter, your biggest lover is going to be yourself. So, pile 3, I really, really, really hope that this finds you when you need it. I hope that this resonates with you and helps you through whatever you're going through. I feel like this is a very powerful and loving message that I've just been given from yourself to you. And I see that there is a lot of love that you have for yourself. And even though it can be lonely to think about that you're the only person that you have, I want you to be able to find solace in it and find acceptance in it and find joy in how much love that you have for yourself, how much joy your soul has for yourself. So that is everything that I have for you. If you enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe and stick around if you like what I do. There's a lot more videos on my channel just like this one. Probably not exactly like this reading because this one was pretty unique. But if you're looking for other readings, there are many more on my channel just like this. And if you want a reading about your personal situation, I do offer those. There's a link down in the description box below to my shop. But that's everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I truly wish you the best.